of the impromptu stuff with Glenn Van Deusen. How are you, Glenn?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good, good. Can you give us a quick 411 on what you guys do and why you're here?
Sure. With Van Deusen Levitt Associates, we're a brand strategy and brand design firm, and we work with credit unions to help them find ways to take that asset of their brand and maximize the potential of that brand.
Right. So what trends are you seeing right now with credit union branding and helping them get the word out there?
Well, good question. It's definitely changing. I think the credit union industry is recognizing the importance of branding and recognizing the value of branding in ways that perhaps 5-10 years ago they didn't.
Yeah.
You're seeing that in the resources that they're putting against it in terms of personnel that are being brought into marketing departments that didn't exist before, as well as dollars being invested in branding and marketing that weren't there before.
Yeah. I was just talking to a gentleman, I can't recall the company, but they're recruiting, but they're recruiting from outside the industry now. They just placed a person who worked at Disney in the marketing position.
That's
really cool.
Right, and we're seeing that with our clients as well. We work with credit unions, very small to some of the largest in the country, and what we're seeing is exactly that. They're looking at, yes, within the industry, but even, interestingly enough, within hospitality. Because these are people who understand the member experience, who understand the guest experience. And so those are the people, and also who, fortunately for us, understand branding and the importance of defining a brand, leveraging your brand, and learning how that brand can drive membership, can drive referrals, can drive loyalty, can drive advocacy, and so on.
Can you give me a couple of examples, or maybe just one example or a couple of examples of what kind of a new trend in branding would be right now for credit unions? I mean, obviously mobile is huge. You know, like I hear like social video is now really catching on now, that type of stuff. Is there anything else out there that?
Well, the big one that we are involved very heavily in is really kind of before all that tactical work begins. And that's really understanding not just what your members are doing and how your members are behaving, but why.
Okay.
And that's really the critical element that I think has been missing in a lot of the research and a lot of the net promoter scores and a lot of the surveys that credit unions do. They get great information on the what and the how, but they don't dig deep enough to get the why. And so that's what we do. We've got some really interesting research techniques to do that, both with members and with employees and with board members. And we really get to that why understanding so that when it comes to then defining the brand and communicating the brand, whether it's through social media, through digital, or whatever else, that it's grounded in some really fact-based understanding of those equities that brand holds. So that's I think the biggest one that we see.
Okay, kind of wrapping up here, what do you see for the rest of 2016 and then going into 2017? I mean, we're already talking about that. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think more of the same, really. You know, the industry is obviously consolidating, right? There's fewer credit unions each year. So that I don't see that changing. I think the trend in terms of more emphasis on branding from a, again, resource standpoint, whether it's the people or the dollars, I don't see that changing. I think that's actually just getting started in a big way. So I see that continuing. And that's kind of our space. So I'll leave all the other financial side of it to those experts, but that's what we see.
Okay. Yeah, I also think it's kind of cool to have the fresh blood coming into the industry. I mean, like we alluded to at the top of the show, introducing people to the credit industry, bringing in people from outside the industry, and introducing new, fresh ideas. Not that the folks already in the industry don't have it, but it's always good to have something fresh come in and give us a nice shot in the arm, so to speak.
Absolutely. I mean, in our business, Van Deusen and Levitt Associates does a lot of work in financial services, but we work in other industries too.
Oh, so you can bring stuff
in.
So
we bring in those ideas, right? So whether it's our fast food client or our heavy industrial client or our pharmaceutical client or whatever, we have clients across many verticals. And then we can bring those best practices and best learnings into the credit union space, which we think is a real advantage for our clients.
I totally agree. It's kind of like the magazine Fast Company, because they interview people from all different industries, and wow, it's like you read the magazine, it's like one big brainstorm session. It's like, oh, I could use that idea from whatever industry that was.
Exactly.
Cool. Great message to end on, Glenn. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Well done.